Good morning, everyone. My name is Matt Pfeiffer. This is Conversations on Retail, and I am on the road this week. So I'm actually in central Iowa, where, believe it or not, on April 7th, it is snowing this morning. I am completely done with winter, but I guess winter is not completely done with us. Um, Conversations on Retail is my kind of third iteration on supplier education and development. For any of you who have not been on one of our events yet, we like to keep things a little bit informal, less structured, and more conversational. So Destiny is going to be talking with us in a few minutes, but I just want to encourage you, as you have questions, don't use the chat, use the Q&A button within Zoom, and go ahead and submit those questions, and then we'll give you an opportunity to turn on your microphone and ask those questions when we're ready for Q&A time. Now, if anyone does not want to be read their own question, just put a capital A in front of your question for anonymous, and I will read that question on your behalf. But this is really an important part of what we're doing today. Obviously, we're here to learn, from Destiny, but we want this to be conversational. So please use that Q&A button and submit questions as you have them. So to introduce the speaker, much has been written in recent months about how much more difficult it is today to make money selling on Amazon, and Destiny clearly sees it differently. She's going to lead an open conversation today about how some of the most successful brands are growing their business rapidly and profitably on the platform. And if you don't know Destiny Wishon, she is the co-founder and CEO of Better AMS, a company that helps brands achieve their advertising goals on Amazon and on Walmart. So Destiny, I'm going to turn it over to you. Thank you so much for the time that you've spent to be here this morning, but also to prepare for this conversation. And we're looking forward to hearing from you.
Yeah, of course. Super excited to be here. So to give a little bit more on my background, I have been working in the Amazon space for close to 6 years now. I've worked with everything from some of the largest VC brands that are in the space to the private label solopreneur side. I primarily focus on Amazon advertising, but when you're working with the highest spending brands on the platform, you're pretty familiar with everything they're doing, from organic ranking to conversion rate optimization, and even the external marketing side of things. So everything I kind of put together was just the state of the platform and focusing on Amazon advertising. But if anyone has any questions on any of the other aspects of just what we're seeing in the e-commerce space, or what are some of the biggest difficulties with Amazon, feel free to put them in the chat and we can get them answered. But diving into kind of the overview of what we see on the platform, I will hop in here. So state of Amazon search results. This is where I decided to open things up, because I feel like this is one of the biggest complexities we have, and we're explaining why Amazon is becoming that much more complicated, why brands feel like they're losing out on margin, and just what the industry looks like. So anyone who has a brand on Amazon, or anyone who's looking to sell on Amazon, one of the first things I recommend you do is stop what you're doing, go to the platform, and type in the one search term you would use as a consumer to buy your products. For dish soap, this is what we're seeing. So without ever scrolling down, you don't see a single organic listing. Amazon is becoming heavily saturated with ads. They make a lot of money with ads. And this is the hardest concept for brands to understand. So when you look at dish soap, you see Miss Myers has a headline search ad right here. This can be ran under any of your accounts. And then you have 4 sponsored product placements directly below. Why this is so important to call out is because a lot of brands don't invest in their Amazon advertising enough. They see it as a traditional marketing expense like you would see in stores. And they don't understand that the more you invest in your Amazon advertising, the more likely you're going to see an increase in your organic ranking, which brings us to typically the next part of the page. Directly below your 4 sponsored product placements, you have 4 organically ranked products. Now, the problem with that is getting the top 4 is incredibly difficult. And if you're not in the top 4, this is what you see directly below. You see a highly rated sponsored ad carousel, which is scrolling through more products. You oftentimes will see editorial recommendations. You'll see more sponsored products related to by our brands. Sometimes you'll see a sponsored display ad right here, a DSP ad, or a video and search ad. Why I wanted to call this out is because when you are, as a consumer, going to Amazon, you're not seeing a lot of products beyond the top 4. So when I'm evaluating a brand's presence, this is my core focus. When you look at their top search term, do they have any ads on page 1? No. Well, are they ranked in the top 4? No. That means they can probably invest a lot more and do a lot more to grow their brand presence. But what's hard to justify internally is, why would I spend more money? Why would I spend more money in order to make less because my margins are so much lower on Amazon? The real answer is economies of scale. Consumers love shopping on Amazon, and it's a lot easier to buy a sponsored product ad to get your product in front of the right customers than it is to focus on influencer traffic, Facebook ads, major difficulties in our space, email marketing. All of those platforms have a lower conversion rate than Amazon because this is your highest purchase intent. So your costs may be higher, your product margin may be lower, but you have the opportunity to get visibility in front of hundreds of thousands of potential brand loyalists. And then once they buy your product, ideally they go to your website, they buy in stores. That cost per acquisition should balance out. Now, how do you succeed when your product detail page is covered with ads? You have display ads, DSP ads, 8 different, brand carousels. The real focus is making sure you're organically ranked incredibly well, as you can see here, which is going to be focused on volume and conversion rate, or making sure you have the advertising presence. So when someone types in your top keyword, like Garden of Life here, you are showing up all over the page. Now, these are just really macro level details. I have a 50-slide presentation on all of the specifics. We're not going to go through all of that today because I'm not 100% sure where a lot of us are at with the stage of Amazon. But a lot of people don't realize how much control you have with Amazon ads. You can target one specific keyword and put all of your money into it if that's what you wanted. You can add creatives to your ads. You can write copy. Amazon gives us that specific data on the search term level, which can help us justify a decision. This is a great example because this is a case study we ran where, for this brand, we spent $50,000 on the word probiotics. We drove $70,000 worth of sales, and our organic ranking improved from number 8 to number 4, which is a testament to ad spend being more than just a marketing budget on Amazon. The real goal is to get that organic ranking to the top 4, so that way you are inherently driving all of those customers to your products without paying for them directly from ads. Now, some general KPIs that I like to recommend people test within their account is 70 to 80% of sales will more than likely come from your sponsored products. It's the highest amount of inventory. And then 10% of your advertising spend to total sales ratio. So if you're doing, $100,000 a month in in total sales, you should usually spend $10,000 on ad spend. That's a really healthy ratio on Amazon for high growth. And then you can see, if you're curious and you're running Amazon ads now, you can see that breakout directly below. But in general, when you're looking at making money on Amazon, you have to focus on your organic ranking. That's going to be more important than anything else that you do on the platform. And I'm going to pause really fast to see if anyone has any questions around the basics here. If anyone has anything in the chat on what we're seeing in the industry, we'll start there. But again, everything I have in my slides are very specific to making money with Amazon ads. We will start with, so when we're having the conversation again around organic rank, what we really want to do to rank well on Amazon is drive a ton of volume to the appropriate keywords and then convert well on those keywords. Why that's important is because the algorithm's not that complex. They want a customer to see a highly relevant ad, click on that ad, and then purchase the product. And if they purchase the product with a high enough conversion rate, Amazon's going to say this product needs to be ahead of all of the other products on the page. So back in the old days of Amazon, you used to be able to do giveaways, you used to give heavily discounted products to your email list, search, find, buys, all these things. Amazon came out and said, nope, that's against terms of service. Let's not do that. Instead, Amazon's shifting in a direction of wanting people to drive external traffic in a fair way. So Google ads, influencer campaigns, Amazon lives, all of those things, and wanting them to invest a ton of money in advertising. That's why page one is so saturated. So everything we do with Amazon ads is balancing on how do we improve our organic rank, as you can see here, and then how do we improve our profitability and tell our brand story. So when you're looking at your organic rank, what we do is we set up very specific campaigns targeting 1 to 2 of our top keywords, and we focus on nothing but winning market share. If our conversion rate is strong enough, like as you can see here for probiotics, we were converting at a 34.8 conversion rate. We knew our organic rank was going to improve from spot 8, which is pretty far down on the page in all honesty, to spot 3, which is the best place to be on page 1. So even though we had a $1 ROAS overall, not fantastic results because we were paying so much per click, $7. The lifetime value of this ad was exponential because it put us in the prime spot on the page for organic ranking. So that's kind of one of the key focuses that we typically look at when we are running any form of ad strategy. And then if we want to dive into some of the other aspects that people don't necessarily realize, on Amazon, you have the opportunity to run campaigns like this. So if you see the ads directly below the bullet points or directly below the buy box, these are sponsored display ads and or DSP ads that can be ran directly under the account. So we also want to focus on these placements in order to drive more market share. What you'll do is you'll take a sponsored display ad, you'll run product targeting, and then you'll target your top 3 to 5 ASINs. That's going to help you conquest market share over your competitors because it's an amazing placement on the page. As a customer, you're looking at buying something like Kinder Sense. You're going through the bullets, and then you see this ad directly below for a product that has a lower price point and more reviews. You're going to click on that. And that's going to allow you to win more market share over time. You can also use this exact same strategy for cross-selling your products. You can see Sposy directly below here. If you go to their listing, they're usually running product targeting ads on their own listings to cross-sell their other products. So they'll probably do their next size up. So that way, as a child grows, you can now see their other product variations. Or they're going to use this ad to target people who are buying, Playtex Diaper Genie, because you can assume if someone's buying a Diaper Genie, they're also going to need this style of product. So a lot of the strategy behind Amazon ads is a lot more complex than what people realize. It's typically sold from Amazon reps or general brand guidelines as, hey, top of funnel strategy, let's focus on impressions. But when you're actually running Amazon advertising directly under your account, you have the opportunity to be a lot more granular, like you can see here. Other things that are pretty cool that a lot of people don't realize within Amazon ads are the opportunity for creative control. So things like this, these are direct ads that can be run under your Amazon advertising account. So headline search ad, custom image. This is just a sponsored brand ad that has a lifestyle image uploaded. We've seen it increases click-through rate by around 500%, and it finally allows brands to tell their brand story, which has always been a complaint with Amazon ads, is that you don't have a lot of creative control. Well, now with rollouts like this, we have the opportunity to be a lot more expressive on who our brand is and win a lot more market share. On mobile, if you see the lifestyle image at the top of the page, it's just a sponsored brand ad. This is what it looks like at the top of the desktop. It's a great opportunity to cross-sell all of your products. So you have C8, MCT oil, keto creamer, things like that have never been available for Amazon ads until recently. They've also rolled out the exact same thing with video and search ads. So video and search ads are ran directly under sponsored brands. A lot of people get confused with what OTT looks like versus what this looks like, but this is an ad that's ran directly within the search results. Coolest thing about it is a cost per click model. So even if you run a commercial grade ad on here, you're only getting charged when someone clicks on the ad. Meaning if you don't have commercial grade videos and you want to put up a PowerPoint slideshow that you're doing a video walkthrough of, they still have the opportunity to perform well profitability wise because it's cost per click. Someone's not going to click on a video ad unless they're very, very interested in buying. So that's been a really awesome rollout on our end. Here is a quick walkthrough. So custom image is right here for those who aren't aware and who are looking to run that within their advertising. Video and search ads, again, rolling out on the product detail page. That's been a very big value add because now we're able to justify the cost for video creation because we're getting more impressions and more exposure on the platform. Oh, let's see here. We have Amazon Post, which I'm not going to walk through too in depth because I know that was covered last week. But the real value of Amazon Post is Amazon is giving us more and more creative control over everything we're doing on the platform. So not only are you just a brand with random listings, they're wanting us to have better A+ content. They're wanting us to have social opportunities and the opportunity to email our customers directly. They're wanting us to be able to have video assets that can be ran on platform and off platform with direct control, as well as having those other placements on the page with sponsored display or DSP. They're giving us more and more control over what we're doing so that way we can tell our brand story a lot better. Again, that really ties into the future and the direction they're going and why it's valuable to be on Amazon. Margins may be quite a bit lower, profitability may be lower, but we have the opportunity to put our brand in front of hundreds of thousands of customers. So if we can take advantage of some of these small assets while they're very early on, it gives us advantage over all the larger brands that may have the spend and the budget to compete, but they're not running strategically because it's a lot of work to be successful on Amazon. Here's what those posts look like on desktop. And here are some of the metrics given from them. One thing I'll call out is Amazon posts are currently free. So as you can see in the last 90 days, we drove 500,000 in impressions. We got 2,400 product clicks. If we compare that to our average cost per click in an ad account, that's over $3,000 of free traffic, which I know is always fun when it comes to Amazon. And then diving into some of the other cool rollouts, as you can see, the follow button has been added to both the store page as well as the Amazon feed. This is a huge tool because it allows us the opportunity to email customers later on. And yeah, these are really the basics of what I had. I have, again, a few other small things, but they're very in the weeds. So I'd love to know if anyone has any questions about e-commerce or Amazon yet.
So I've got a question, Destiny. I've known a lot of folks, let's say 5 years ago, maybe 6, 7 years ago, that followed the gold rush to the Amazon platform. And it just seemed like, from my perspective, as a non-merchant on the platform, it was kind of become a free for all. People were making money. It seemed effortlessly. And you talk to some of those same people today, and they've disappeared. And have they disappeared in your view because Amazon has made it more difficult for them to be successful, or is it that because Amazon has done so much to give sellers the tools that they need in order to be successful, to kind of back to your prior point, it's just become an awful lot of work in order to optimize your listing and compete?
Yeah, that's a great question. The way I like to view it is when Amazon started, they needed to be the anything and everything store. That was their tagline. They needed to have all of the random things that you couldn't get in a retail store. That had to be their competitive advantage. So they did that. A ton of people were able to sell all of these intricate things. They were able to vary different products, PL products, things like that. And Amazon built up their customer base. And then they started building up strong loyalty. And then Amazon realized, hey, I have this fundamental consumer base. Now I don't need to sell anything and everything. I need to sell the best of everything. So Amazon made this switch to only valuing the best products to sell to their loyal customer base. So they got really, really specific on reviews. They didn't want people manipulating reviews. They truly wanted to see more honest reviews. They made ranking a little bit more complex. You couldn't just give away products and be on page 1 because then customers would get crappy products from someone that was manipulating the rank. So all of the things they did had their customers' interest in mind, which is the part I like best, because if you truly have a brand, you have something that relates directly to your customers, that's solving a problem, then Amazon's still the place to be, because that's what Amazon's looking for. They're looking for the best products to sell to their loyal customer base. So yes, it was a gold rush. You had people that were, knocking off the most basic products and changing the color of them. And then Amazon's like, my people don't really want this. So it's 90 times more complex in that ranking and costs have increased. But Amazon's done such a good job at keeping the main thing, which is having a happy customer base, that brands still have the opportunity to benefit. More people than ever before are shopping on Amazon. COVID was definitely a catalyst for everything we're seeing on .com, but it's not going anywhere. I mean, I've talked to some of the largest consumer brands who saw their retail metrics shift from, hey, we used to be doing 10% on e-commerce, primarily Amazon, and now we're doing 40 to 50%. It's a high risk position to be in, as we've always seen with Walmart as well. But it's because the customers are there. And I think the next step is building up that loyalty on Amazon. And then how do you shift some of that consumer base to your D2C focus? That's kind of been the biggest step we've seen.
Is it fair to say that Amazon is not as friendly as it once was to the hobby sellers? And I think that's kind of what you're saying, just because of the effort required today in order to compete with the folks that are more committed.
100%. I mean, the work required to have any successful e-commerce business nowadays is exponential. I always joke, like 50 years ago, it was location, location, location. You needed to be somewhere with great foot traffic and have great customer service. Nowadays, you have high schoolers that are able to source products and connect with the social media agency all through their phones. So you have more people than ever before, like saturating the market and running businesses. And it's making it a lot more complex because for any one product, you could have influencers, you can go live, you can have a social media account, you have email marketing, you have chatbot marketing, you have Amazon, Walmart, Shopify. There's so many more variables to success that I see a lot of people are spreading themselves way too thin and trying to, be a mile wide and an inch deep. When in reality, Amazon in itself can take a full team. You need SEO, you need advertising. There's so many variables.
Yeah. And with that in mind, is it fair to say that fewer and fewer brands are managing e-commerce optimization in-house, and that more of them are relying on the more specialized agency partners to do the heavy lifting so they can focus on only those things?
As of right now, yes. And I would actually be very interested in hearing your opinion on this. I think they are right now because there's a talent shortage in the space. I think Amazon e-commerce grew way too quickly for the education to keep up with it. I mean, on our end as an Amazon advertising agency, we're seeing really high churn rates for a lot of the CPG companies because they can't match salaries and they can't keep up with that. The industry is changing way too quick. So they're having to outsource to agencies and or bring in internal consultants because the people that actually know what they're doing are few and far between. Because I mean, how do you hire someone with 4 years of experience when Amazon advertising didn't become a big thing until 3 to 4 years ago? It's not easy.
Yeah, I think that's a really fair assessment, and the talent shortage is one part of it, but also just the rapid changes that are taking place in the marketplace. Just keeping up with it is such a challenge for so many brands. I'd love to get some feedback from some of the other folks that are joining us if they're seeing the same sorts of things in their experience, where brands are more likely to outsource to a specialized agency to do the heavy lifting for them.
Even on the software side, development changes so quickly. Amazon rolls out, new ad types, new data points. They just rolled out a really awesome new tool that allows us to analyze brand metrics, which is how we're comparing to the rest of the category, or the search query, which allows us to see what we're ranking for and what the search volume is. Those things change so quickly that softwares can't keep up either, because then they're pouring money into their development costs, which makes them more and more expensive, but they're able to provide less and less value because there's no one size fits all solution. So I think it's across the board, just in the e-commerce industry in itself. You have to have really good places to get your content so you can stay in tune with the industry. You have to be willing to be flexible, change fast, and look at, hey, if I have 100 things to do, what are the 20 that are the most important? If you don't have those resources, you're slowly going to fall behind.
Destiny, I love your team and your business and the great work that you're doing. Followed you for a long time now. What's the best way for folks to engage you if they want to, either whether they're in attendance now or watching the video later, if they want to engage you and your organization and learn more about how you can help them, what's the very best way to engage?
Yeah, so LinkedIn's probably it. Destiny with Sean. I post a ton of content. We're also some of the software companies in the e-commerce space and I are looking at hosting a few like meet and greets in Bentonville. So we'll have to connect on that, but LinkedIn's the best place.
That sounds great. Destiny with Sean from AMS, Better AMS. Thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate your time and look forward to seeing you again soon.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much, Matt. See
Thanks,
ya.
everyone. Have a great day.